Hey peeps, I'm Rick Roberts, and I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been to a store or been on the phone and you can just tell that the person serving you was just looking just to get through the day? They didn't really care about you. They didn't really care about doing a good job. They were just sitting there, filling an empty space, looking to get a check at the end of the day, and just existing. Now, how did you feel when that happened? Did you feel like, oh, I came here, I gave you this time, and this is what you gave me? You are supposed to be a professional, and this is what you give me? I'm spending my money, I'm giving you my time, and this is what you give me? Now, the same disappointment, the same way how that put a nasty taste on your day, I want you to be careful, because we are serving others. In this podcast, we're gonna look at how you do something affects everything. You know, what you do with the small things affects the bigger picture. What you reap is from what you sown. And so if you realize that you have been living an average, mediocre, serving work life, or just in what it is that you do day in and day out, this podcast is for you. It's to hopefully encourage you to raise your game up and to do more, to be able to put yourself into what you're doing and to explore how you can be your best self. I'm Rick Roberts, and hopefully this podcast will encourage you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey peeps, I'm Rick Roberts, and this is Rick Roberts Life, the podcast where we talk about my faith, my thoughts, my life. And today is Motivation Monday, and I want to say to you that how you do something is how you do everything. Okay? Now, the reason why I say this is because when you go to these stores, when you go on the phone and you're talking to people in customer service, or you're just receiving a service, have you ever noticed that some people just literally show up on the day and they're just trying to get through the day, but they're not trying to get from the day? Now, what I mean by that is that sometimes when you call up and you say, hey, do you know about this? You can tell that the person doesn't really care to give you service. You can tell that that person at that particular moment literally just showed up and they're just trying to punch the clock to get through the day. They're not looking to go above and beyond to make sure that you get what you came looking for. They're not looking to make sure that you actually feel helped. They're just trying to get you in, get you out, and go on to the next one. And when you feel that way, sometimes you think, I'm not coming back. This person is just, I can't believe that I came all this way and I was treated like that. I went and got this money to buy this and you're reacting like that. Like, I want my experience to be, at least one that's pleasant for me to associate what I'm doing with you. And if you're working for a company and you find that you don't care about the company, that you've just been roped into something, that you're just trying to get a check, how you act in that moment, the way that you are, is going to reflect how you do everything else. When it comes time for you to do something you're passionate about, there's going to be days where you just don't feel like being there. You don't feel like showing up. And if you bring that mentality, if you bring that attitude into what you're looking to do, it's going to poison your brand. And so I say, don't wait till you're where you want to be. Right now, work on how you're doing what you're doing to a high level. Make sure that you are putting yourself into what you're doing so that way you can show up, you can give the best experience to the individual because they came all that way to have this experience, and how you treat them, how you serve them can either make or break their day. Some people could be having a terrible day, and because you were on your A game, because you showed up and you wanted to give the best you could literally turn that person's day around. Just because you're being pleasant, you're being your true self, that person says, you know what, thank you, I just needed someone to see me. I needed someone to realize that, I've come here for a good experience, and you gave that to me. Same thing with someone who's having a great day. If they come to you and you're just not in the mood and you're off your game and you're just being negative, they pick up on that, and you can turn that person's day from something pleasant to something a bit more mediocre. And so how you do something is how you do everything. God says, whatever you put your hand to, do it with all your might, as though you're doing it unto the Lord. So that means don't shortchange anybody. Don't just come and just do the bare minimum. Do everything you can to the best and highest standard, because you're serving God with whatever it is you're touching. Whoever it is you're interacting with, you're serving God in that moment. You're reflecting God in that moment. So continue to do your best work. Now, I know this is easier said than done. Now, the only way to get to extraordinary is to do the ordinary to a top level. You can't just come and just do the bare minimums. Like I said, it's easier said than done. It's hard to always perform to a high level. So in order to do that, you have to get into the habit of looking to perform to a high level. Because even on the days when you're not feeling on, if you're used to performing to a high level, your weekday will be better than most. Okay, now how do you perform to a high level? How do you get into a habit of performing to a high level? Well, the best way that I could say that you get to a habit is whenever you finish something, I want you to look at it and say, is that good? Did I do a good job with that? Can people tell that I did that job? Give it a second look. Don't just do it and walk off. Do what you've done, interact the way that you interact, and then reflect on it and see, did you leave your flair? And if you didn't, reflect why. Reflect how you could have improved it the next time. Don't internalize it negatively, but reflect on it and dissect what it is that you did wrong and figure out a way to safeguard yourself from making that same mistake again. Then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to practice fixing that in your mind. Run it over again and again and again, because your mind doesn't know the difference between the mental and the physical. As long as you're running through it again and again and again, you're getting that practice so that when that scenario comes up again, you can deliver. All right? So that's one of the ways that you can get used to delivering on a high level, doing the best you can with the small things so you can be given greater things. Consistently in life, you reap what you sow. So how you do something is how it affects everything. Be careful. Be very mindful of that. So this week, I want you to go out there. I want you to kill it. I want you to make sure that you're doing great things with the small things so it can affect the bigger picture. I want you to make sure how you do something is how you're going to do everything. Do something well. Do everything well. Do not show up and just exist. Do not show up and just try to get a check. Don't just show up and do the bare minimum to get by. I want you to put your own flavor, put your own stamp, put your own style on it, because you are a unique and extraordinary individual, and you're not living ordinary. You're not living average. You're not just doing the bare minimum just to get by. You're gonna do what you can to take new experiences and to build yourself into a newer and stronger, more mature person today. I'm Rick Roberts, and you stay classy. Bye.